Hello and welcome back. This is part 3 in the series on trying to recover this IBM 5155 portable personal computer. If you want to have a look at the previous episodes, I'll list them down in the comments below. Part 1 shows the machine in non-working condition, but I do manage to get it up and running just with a simple fix. And part 2, I go through the rigmarole of floppy drive issues and managed to get the floppy disk to boot on this machine to a point. The machine wasn't booting fully from the floppy disk. It was certainly trying to boot, but it couldn't complete its boot because of lack of memory, and this machine is only picking up 64K of RAM, so obviously not enough to load DOS. And that's part of this video, is just really getting to the bottom of the RAM issue. So what I have done off camera is I've removed the Six Pac Plus board. This is the RAM expander, and I think there's a parallel port here, game port, and serial port on the end here, and a real-time clock. I've removed the battery there. It's dead flat. I tried a couple of the jumper settings here. From what I can see is the 1, 2 and 3 switches here right on the left hand side here. Get you in close. You can see that 1 is set to off and 2 and 3 are set to on. I tried setting all of those 3 there to off, which is the start of RAM at 64K, but it didn't work, and I suspect I've got faulty RAM in the machine. So we're at that point there where we've still got only 64K. These machines are relatively easy to work on. I can't quite get to everything I need to because of this drive carrier here, but it's easy enough to, there's one screw here to undo, and there's a screw in the front onto a bracket on the chassis there. And then you can literally just, once you remove all your cards and disconnect the speaker wire, let's remove this card here, and the power connectors there, you can literally just slide the main board and lift it out there relatively easily. And I'll show you here what I've done. This bank here is no and good, okay, otherwise we wouldn't have had anything on the screen. It would have failed to boot. So we knew that this RAM is good. I suspected there was bad RAM in this bank because it only picked up 64K, not 128. So I removed the RAM from there, put the RAM from bank 2 here into bank 1, and away it went at 128. So I'm assuming if I fill this bank here with RAM that I might be lucky enough to get 256K. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll start by removing these chips here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's 8 bits plus 1 parity. So I'll just go ahead and extract these chips here. Hopefully, you know, because I don't have a Retro Chip Tester Pro or anything like that, I don't have any way of testing these chips. I'm really just taking a gamble on these RAM chips being good. Okay, so there's our spare test RAM as such. Let's go ahead and populate this bank here, bank 2. Make sure we've got our orientation right there. So I'll be pretty pleased to get this machine to the point where it's stock, at least, with this 256K RAM here total. So I'm sort of just banking on the fact that this RAM's not faulty, as I say, and that this RAM here is not faulty either. I mean, we'll know if this RAM's faulty because we'll still get 128K. But yeah, it would be nice to get this machine to a sort of stock configuration at least, so that I can have a wee play. And considering, as I said in the previous videos, that this was just a parts machine, I think I've done pretty well actually. Okay, just hook that back up there. So yeah, I was saying sometimes you get an auction where it says that the machine was working last time it was used, and for all you know it might have been last used in 1992. You just never know. I sort of tend to avoid those auctions unless you're just looking for parts. And the worst one is when you get a machine or something that's in working condition, in quotes, and you get it it's not working condition at all. We do have a very good auction site here called Trade Me, and it's based on rapport and customer feedback and things like that. So the last thing a seller wants is bad feedback. But sometimes you get this situation where you buy something known to be broken just for parts and it's working. Yeah, couldn't believe it. Anyway, I'm not bothering to plug the keyboard in there. Let's just see what we've got here. Hoping for 256K. Just making sure everything's in order there. Okay. We're getting radio coming up to the 128. Yep, it's past it. 160, 192, 208, 224, 240, 256K. Fully working memory. Oh, this just keeps getting better really. As long as you've got spare parts and things like that, it's just a great thing to be able to do. So I know that we've got a faulty RAM chip here somewhere. So what I need to do now is find my spare RAM and repopulate the Six Pac Plus board. But at least I might be able to get an operating system booting. Let's see if that will work. I'll just install the floppy controller here. So I might as well plug the keyboard in, and we'll use a floppy drive here, one that should be working, the Xenon drive. Put that into the end of the cable there. Hook up our power. This one here should work, hopefully, unless the drive is playing up. Just hold that drive up slightly, just so that the flywheel doesn't catch there. Let's see if we get a bootable system here. Wait for it to count its RAM. 160. .256. Okay, we had drive initialized and it's booting. At least it's trying to. Do we have enough RAM? We've got the A echo off. There we go. We've got an A prompt. Pretty exciting. Do a directory on that. Yes. Okay, so we have pretty much a fully working stock IBM 5155 portable personal computer sold as parts. So yep, couldn't be happier. It's just a brilliant result. Now, while I'm on the subject of RAM, I've got the Six Pac Plus board here, which I've robbed the RAM out of to get the mainboard RAM up and running here. But I wondered whether this board would actually work, and I've had a little look at the manual, and this is bank 0, bank 1, bank 2, 3, 4, 5, and I wondered whether maybe the card will just work, you know, up to at least bank 0 here. So I thought maybe I should just plug it in and give it a go, and I'll do that. So that really just slots in. We've got 256K on the board, on the motherboard, plus another 64 makes 320. So if the RAM counts to 320, then the RAM card is working at least up until the empty bank of RAM there. So we're using the first bank of RAM on the card. So let's just see what we get. Again, I don't know the state of this card. So we're looking at it passing 256K. And the count up here, we're at 80, 128, 256 here, and yes, so it's counting past 256, which indicates that the board is working. The Six Pac Plus board is actually working. So again, another bonus. You know, I wasn't even aware in the auction when I bought the machine that the Six Pac Plus was even in the machine. It wasn't stated in the auction description, so that's a nice little bonus there. So now I'm wondering if I populate the bank that I stole the memory from for the main board, if I populate that, whether we'll have a working system. And I did manage to find some 4164 chips. I stole them from my 5160. That's not in working condition, but I know that these RAM chips are good. So let's just populate this board here, and we're hoping to get past 320K and right up to 640, would it be? We've got 4 banks on the computer, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 banks of 64K, which is 640K. That's what I'm hoping we will see here. And if that's the case, the only thing that this machine doesn't have that my other machine, my original one, has is a hard drive, but that's no problem. Sort that out with a compact flash XT to IDE hard drive emulator. So there we go, fully populated RAM there. So this bank here, that brought us up to 320K. If I get past 320K, we know that that bank's fine. And then it's just a matter of counting up through these remaining banks to get a total of 640. So I'll install this card back into here. Okay, let's fire it up. Let's see what we get here. Okay, that's the first bank. Second bank on the motherboard. Third bank. Fourth bank on the motherboard. First bank on the card. Second bank on the card, so that's successful. Fourth bank. Okay, looks like the card is working. Oh, we've passed the 512K barrier, as in that's what my other machine's got. And there we go, a full 640K. Oh, that's so awesome. So that card, that Six Pac Plus card, is fully working now. And this is a little stash here of RAM that I've got. That's the original bunch there from the motherboard. This is some here that I grabbed from the 5160. I'm not sure of the state of these, but yeah, that's really awesome. Let's boot up DOS from a floppy. Okay, I've got my floppy drive connected here, and let's see if we can still boot DOS. I've got a 3.2 DOS disk here, bootable. Let's crank her up. It takes a little while to boot now that it's got to count through all the memory there. 640. And the floppy drive's accessing. And it appears to be booting. Yep, just ignore that RAM drive. Echo off. And we have a fully booted DOS 3.2. Yeah, that's really awesome. DOS 3.2. So there we go, pretty much a fully bootable system. So I've also got this board from a 5160 that I mentioned, and this board's actually got a 512K RAM upgrade installed. There's a chip missing there, just a faulty RAM chip there. And yeah, I'd really like to get this board working. I'm not quite sure exactly what's wrong with this one. I've got another one that's got 256K RAM on board as well. But yeah, quite like to get both of them up and running, so I might be able to use some of the bits and pieces that I've got on this machine to compare things like jumper settings, and use the Hercules card and whatnot just to install into this machine here so that I can do some testing. The RAM's looking a little bit rusty there, probably need to clean that up. Yeah, so that gives me the opportunity to have a really good play with trying to get this board up and running here. I've got a diagnostic ROM as well for this machine, so I can use that to try and help some troubleshooting there as well. With this good known system, it's really given me the opportunity to maybe even fix up the 5160s here, so we'll see how we go there. So the next thing I'd like to do with this machine here is possibly run some software, fire up WordPerfect or Railroad Tycoon or something like that. Will it run Railroad Tycoon in 640K? I don't know. But I know Ms. Pac-Man will run. I'll see if I can get that transferred across from my other machine. So yeah, that's about it for this one. It's been a really successful project. As I say, dead in the water. The machine wasn't booting to start with at all, and really just a matter of connecting the cable that runs the screen to the Hercules adapter. Then the machine would only boot in 64K. So track down faulty RAM in the second bank 1 on the motherboard, put that RAM into the machine, got the machine up to 256K, no worries, and then the Six Pac Plus card, just icing on the cake really, just awesome to bring the machine up to 640K total. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that little series. I might tack one or two on the end, I don't know, or just create new series on this machine, and we'll go from there. But thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.